What is Okay, so what we are going to discuss now is how to write use case specification documents. And I'm sure you have all understood what use cases are. Use cases are, you all can go on mute. You all can go on mute. Use cases are functional requirements. Each use case is a feature, a big feature in the system. Well, big and small, that's not the point, but it is by itself a feature in the system. It's a functional feature, not a non-functional feature. And it relates to the functionality of the business. Each use case is what the system is supposed to do with respect to that feature. And it is from the perspective of the user, the perspective of the persona of the user, specifically the persona of the user. For example, if I have a user called so the persona is sales officer. So sales officer is the actor in the system. There can be 10 sales officers. So there can be 10 users playing the role of sales officer, but the persona is one, the actor is one. And what that is? Sales officer. Each and every use case is triggered by an actor. For example, in a banking system, a bank customer is an actor. The administrator, the bank manager is an actor, and so on. So bank customer, for example, is a very good example, is an actor. Just a minute, I will just yeah. So it's very important that you understand what use cases are. So use cases are functional requirements. You will never have a use case which is not triggered by an actor. If you do not have an actor triggering a use case, so it's not a use case. For example, if there is some kind of a cron job that is supposed to run in your system in the backend, it's not a use case. It has functional requirements, definitely. Your cron job may implement something really.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, okay. So you may have something, which is actually functional requirement, but it is not triggered by the actor. It runs behind the scenes or something. So you will definitely create a document. You will give a title to that document, whatever that cron job is supposed to do. You will do the description over there. You will describe the functionality that it is supposed to implement, but it will not be a use case. You will have a separate document for it. Not that you will not document it, but it will not be a use case. That's very important point for you to understand. Use cases are always related to what? An actor. An actor will trigger a use case. That is the reason why we say use case. The case in which the user will be using the system. It's a use case. It's a functional requirement. So you create use cases, and use cases are supposed to describe what the system is supposed to do, not how the system is supposed to do. Your use cases must not be biased with the user interface. Your use case can place a non-functional requirement saying that, the non-functional requirement with respect to this use case is that at least 10 transactions must be executed in 1 second. This is a non-functional requirement. Can very well come under use cases specification document under special requirements. See, there is a section here called special requirements. You can see this here. If there is none, then none. Otherwise, the use case by itself is not a non-functional requirement. It is a functional requirement, something that the user can perceive, something that the user, it's a palpable behavior of the system to the user, right? That's how it is. That's how the user sees the system. That's the capability of the system from the user's standpoint. Do not forget do not forget the fact that user. Now let me start using the word actor instead of user. Actor, the role that the user is playing. I repeat, actor, the role that the user is playing. That is the center point. Your entire use case set of use cases are the ones that will be used by the actors. So there can be several actors in the system. Each actor may trigger not one but many use cases, and one particular use case may be triggered by multiple actors. For example, user administration is the option that we have got in our productivity. A business owner is an actor. Business administrator is an actor. Domain administrator is an actor. So domain administrator can also manage users. Business owner can also manage users. So manage users is one use case, but there are two different actors communicating with it. So that's fine. For each use case, you will have a use case specification document. And it is this use case specification document that exactly describes the functionality of the system with respect to that use case. A classic example is a course registration system. So course registration system in a college, just imagine a course registration system. Student is the actor here. Who's the actor? Student. He goes in a manual process. He goes to the college. There is a department there. He stands in the line and he submits his application. And on the application, he specifies there is a form, and he specifies these are the courses that I want. He gives it to the clerk, and that clerk says, okay, whatever the process is. Now, suppose the college wants to automate the whole thing in a way that they want to launch a portal for that college, for that university, especially, wherein the users can log on to the portal and do the registration for the courses for that coming semester. So you have to set the context of that use case in the description. This is how you will start writing the use case specification document. Here, the brief description, this is the very first section, mandatory section. You cannot omit this. It must be there. Now, what happens is that I've seen people, they are unable to understand the scope of each one of these sections, and they start describing everything here in brief description. No, brief description must only set the context of that use case. So the use case allows the student to register for course offerings in the current semester. The student can also update or delete course offerings if changes are made within the add drop period at the beginning of the semester. See, it is setting the context. A very high level. If someone reads the brief description, he understands the context, the scope of this use case. Right? The course catalog system provides a list of all the course offerings for the current semester. So that's how it is. If at all you find that a use case that you have identified, for example, in our case, managed tasks, if at all you find that it is getting overwhelming, if you find that this is too huge for us to manage the requirements and manage the design and implementation, then in that case, you may very well think of breaking down that use case into multiple use cases. You can very well do that. But still, if you find that even if you break it down, someone who is interested in knowing how the task is added will also be interested in knowing how the update of task will happen. Then in that case, you will have to tell him to read these two documents, and that person will have to anyways read that document also, update and delete. So it's better that you put that into one single document itself. So again, it's not that it should not be, of course, one single use case should not be very huge, but then it again depends on the system. It depends. Something like a task in our case, it is the center point. That is the reason for the existence of that entire module. So it has to be a big document, but it must be very well structured. Now, how do you structure your documents? So this is your main, this is the title. This is H1, heading 1. Then you put heading 2, basic, the flow of events. This is the heading 2, flow of events. Very critical, very important. Now, this is where you explain the flow. Now, I will repeat this 3 times. The flow here is the flow with respect to how the user will interact with the system. User does this, system does this. User does this, system does this. User does this, system does this. It's the interaction between the user and the system. Not the flow of your logic, not the flow of your document, flow of your implementation. No. Don't even think from programmer's perspective. Remove the hat of a programmer and wear the hat of a requirements engineer. Wear the hat of a systems analyst. You are playing the role of an analyst when you are writing this. So it should not happen that you get into programming stuff here. Describe what is supposed to be done by the system with respect to user interaction. User does this, system does this. User does this, system does this. Something like Gmail. View mails is the use case. How will you describe it? User opts to view all the mails. System will display the list of all the mails that the user has received. System will display the list of all the mails in the descending order of received date. And the system will display the list of all the mails received, and following are the fields that will be displayed: X, Y, Z, the name of the sender, the date on which it was sent, and then the short form of the subject and subject line, and so on. So what is it that the user is seeing? What is it that the user is doing? Then you will provide different scenarios over there. User will have the option to reply to the email, and then the so on. So that's how it is. So see this here, flow of events, basic flow. Basic flow must and must start with how the use case starts. Mandatory. Use case start kaise hoga? In this case, it is only the student that starts the use case. In some cases, there can be multiple actors starting the use case. You must describe simple statements. This use case starts when a student wishes to register for course offerings or to change his or existing course schedule. So you can describe this use case starts when the say project manager or the team member wants to create a task or update or delete a task. You can also have bullet points here, or else you can say that the use case starts when a student, I can always write something like this, and then bullet point: student wishes to do this, administrator wishes to do this. We can very well have that, no problem. But it must be crystal clear who all will have the option to execute this use case, communicate with this use case. Then the system requests that the student specify the function he or she would like to perform. Create a schedule, update a schedule, delete a schedule. So when you actually register for the courses, you create a schedule for your semester. That these are the 4 courses, primary courses. These are the 2 alternate courses. This is the schedule that you're creating when you're registering for that semester, right? That's how it is. So in our case, there are many scenarios. Create a task, update a task, delete a task, assignee, assign an assignee to the task, set the date, and this and that. All of those are different scenarios. And then you specify once the student provides the requested information, one of the subflows is executed. Requested information means what? Whether he wants to create a schedule or update a schedule or delete a schedule. मतलब ये आप बोल रहे हो कि सिस्टम ने प्रेजेंट करना है, सिस्टम is supposed to present to the user that, hey, you have these options: create a schedule, update a schedule, delete a schedule. Now the student says, I want to create a schedule, then this subflow gets executed. This subflow. If the student says, I want to update a schedule, then update schedule, subflow is executed. So this is the basic flow, and there will be subflows. Subflows. If the registrar selected delete a schedule, the registrar, sorry, there is a. If the student selected delete a schedule, then delete schedule subflow is will get executed. Now, create a schedule is a subflow. Another paragraph starts. So ये H1 था, so this will be H2. This will be another H2. Create a schedule. So this is the basic flow. Then you have got create a schedule. This is another subflow. See the style of writing, very important. You mess up over here and everything is messed up. Everything will be messed up. Again, the same problem. The team is not clear on what is supposed to be done. So create a schedule subflow. Now explain only what happens when create. The system retrieves the list of available course offerings from the course catalog system and displays the list to the student. The student selects 4 primary course offerings and 2 alternate course offerings. Once the student has made their selection, the system creates a schedule for the student containing. Did I mention over here, user clicks on submit. The list of course offerings is provided in a drop down. The list of course offerings is provided in the combo box. Did I mention that? That is the responsibility of your UX designer and UI designer. UI designer decides whether it will be combo box or a checkbox or a list wherein the user will say tick, tick, tick. Let him select. Let him decide. It's not your job. UX designer understands, yes, I am supposed to design a user interface wherein the system will display the list of the available course offerings from the course catalog system. So I am supposed to provide the user interface to display the list of available course offerings. Java is available, .NET is available, this is available, that is available. So he will decide whether there are multi choices over here. So he may decide on a drop down with checkboxes, or he may decide to show in an order like this, Java, .NET, and this, and then let the user select, tick, tick, tick. Let him decide. The user interface. The student selects 4 primary and 2 alternate courses. User interface designer will decide how will the user select 4 primary and 2 alternate, whether he'll show primary here and the alternate here. Whatever he selects will be displayed, whatever is already selected, because there may be 100 courses. He has selected 4. Which 4 are selected? He will display. His job. You are only describing the functional requirements, not user experience, not user design. And then once the student has made his or selections, the system creates the system is what? The system that you are building creates a schedule for the student containing the selected course offerings. Whatever course offering is selected, a schedule is created. Done. Create schedule is finished. Now, the submit schedule subflow is, I'll come to the submit schedule subflow in a moment. Let me go to, so what if user selected update? Update schedule. The system retrieves and displays the student's current schedule. Whatever is the current schedule for the current semester. So the system retrieves and displays the student's current schedule. The system retrieves a list of available course offerings from the course calendar system and displays the list to the student. So this is your existing schedule that you have selected. Now you want to update it. Yes, of course offerings, you select. So the student may update the course selections on the current selection by deleting and adding new course offerings. I had selected these 4: Java, .NET, Python, and TypeScript. These are the 100 course offerings. I'll say, no, not this. Instead of Java, I want to pick up Rust. So I can drop the existing ones and I select the new ones. So you could make it very clear, that the student will be changing his schedule. How will he change? The student selects the course offerings to add from the list of available. The student also selects any course offerings to delete from the existing schedule. So I don't want to take out of this 4. I don't want to take TypeScript. I'll delete. Once the student, how will he delete? Checkbox, drag, drop? No, you are not supposed to write that. Once the student has made his selection, the system updates the schedule for the student using the selected course offerings. Now say this again, the submit schedule subflow is executed. Yahan pe bhi the submit. This submit is submitting. It's a user gesture. You are not saying it will be a submit button or a save button or a blue button or it will be a link. No, let the user interface designer decide. But yahan pe bhi ye hai, yahan pe bhi ye hai. Why? Because, see, redundancy must not be there. There are some sequence of actions. What is a use case? A given use case is the sequence of actions the system is supposed to perform. I repeat, what is a use case? It is the sequence of actions the system is supposed to perform. So these are the sequence of actions, but then there can be some sequence of actions which may be common to the 2 subflows. Matlab kuch aisa karna hai, you are supposed to, the system is supposed to do something which is common to create schedule as well as update the schedule. Why would you want to write it twice? You will write in a separate subflow and say the submit schedule subflow gets executed. Here also the submit schedule subflow gets executed. And now see this submit schedule. For each selected course offering on the schedule, not already marked as enrolled in, the system verifies that the student has the necessary prerequisites, that the course offering is open, and that there are no schedule conflicts. The system then adds the student to the selected course offering. The course These are the sequence of actions to be performed, including the validations that the system is supposed to do at the time of create as well as at the time of update. These are the things that the system is supposed to do here at the time of create as well as at the time of update. Do you think it will make sense to write in 2 places? No. Instead, you say at this point in time, so-and-so subflow gets executed. You define that so-and-so subflow and explain. There is another important thing that I would like to bring to your notice, that with this, you also get to know that the use case must contain the validations, the functional validations, the functionality of the system with respect to validations also over here. Here, it is kind of given and needless to say. Otherwise, if at all here, there are suppose, there are say 5 fields. So you say that system will request the user to enter the value of say X, Y, Z, and so on. And you have to put in brackets, or else you have got to somehow put it over there that following are the mandatory ones, these are optional. ये बताना पड़ेगा, ये functional requirement है. वो यूजर एक्सपीरियंस डिजाइनर को, यूआई डिजाइनर को थोड़ी ना पता चलेगा. हाउ विल ही नो दैट विच फील्ड्स आर मैंडेटरी? ही इज नॉट कंसर्न्ड विद फंक्शनैलिटी, ही इज कंसर्न्ड विद not describing the, of course he is concerned with functionality, the one that you have documented. He will take that functionality, whatever it is, whatever the functionality you have described, he will design the user interface accordingly. Delete a schedule. Okay, submit schedule. For each selected course offering on the schedule not already marked as enrolled in, the system verifies that the student, see, all the validations are over here. And please note the way the validations are written here, the way it has been documented over here, does not include user interface design, UI design, implementation, classes, domain classes, service classes, nothing. In fact, the one who's writing this document is a systems analyst and not a developer. And if you as a developer is supposed to do this task, write this use case specification document, make sure that you remove your hat of a programmer, keep it aside, wear the hat of a systems analyst while writing this document. Then you see this, if the user selects delete a schedule, then delete schedule subflow gets executed. Here it is, delete schedule. The system retrieves the list, retrieves the display of the student's current schedule. The system prompts the student to confirm the deletion of the schedule. The student verifies the deletion. The system deletes. अब इतना beautifully ये लिखा हुआ है. This is so beautifully written that this basic flow covers the happy path. No confusion to the reader. If this happens, then that. If that happens, then that. If this fails, then no, nothing. Happy path. So your use case specification document is supposed to present, illustrate the happy path first. Happy path. This is called happy path. What is a happy path in case of your ATM system? Insert the ATM card, ask for the PIN number, you enter the PIN number, ask for the amount, you enter the amount. It dispenses the cash, ejects the card, you leave the ATM. Happy path. What are the alternate paths? Alternate flows, invalid PIN number, invalid amount. Now that must be dealt with separately. So see here, basic flow ho gaya. Now another H2 will start, rather H1 or H2, whatever. Just make sure that it is in a proper order. Flow of events, yeah, okay. So this is, H1, so whatever. Now you see a new alternate flows. In alternate flows, save a schedule. At any point, the student may choose to save a schedule, not submit. Not submit. Submit matlab final ho gaya. Save matlab, many times you might have seen, I don't know whether you have experience of, going to the passport site and fill in all the details of passport application. Passport application is huge. It takes 4 or 5 pages, or perhaps in fact more than that. Even Visa Facility Center, for visa, if you're applying for the visa for UK, US, you've got to go to their platform, you've got to go to their portal, and then you've got to, fill in the form. There are many forms. You have an option to submit in the end, but any given point of time, you fill up one page, second page, third page, or only one page. You say save my entry. So you say save, maybe on the next day you come back and you continue from wherever you were. So similar option is given away. So save it schedule at any point in time. This is an alternate flow. Student may choose to save a schedule rather than submitting it. If this occurs, the submit schedule step is replaced with the following. The course offering not marked as enrolled in are marked as selected only selected, not yet enrolled. Usne confirm nahi kiya hai. He has not yet confirmed in the schedule. The schedule is saved in the system. Another alternative flow. Unfulfilled prerequisites, course or full or schedule conflicts. If in the submit schedule subflow, you will always refer to in the alternative flow that from where will you land into this alternative flow. Alternative flows are exceptional flows. Happy path में कुछ issue आया तो submit flow था ना, submit schedule, वहां पे ये सब validations है. In the submit schedule there are validations here, my dear friends. There are validations. Now, what if any one of those validations fail? So that you are describing here. You're giving a beautiful title here. So very simple to understand by anyone. This is the Bible of your software solution that you are building. $1 million document. Who all are recipients of this document? Who all will use this document? The UX and UI designers will use it. The code designers, the one who's supposed to design the application in terms of classes and interfaces and stuff and all, they're going to use reusable components and stuff. They're going to use this document. Domain modelers will be using this document in order to design the domain model. Testing team, QA team will be using this document in order to ensure that whatever functionality is documented here is actually fulfilled by the software. $1 million document. So if in the submit schedule subflow, the system determines that the student has not satisfied the necessary prerequisites, or that the selected course offering is full, or that there are schedule conflicts, and error message is displayed, the student can either select a different course offering, and the use case continues, save the schedule as is, see save schedule subflow, or cancel the operation, at which point the basic flow is restarted at the beginning. Cancel पूरा फिर से start करेगी. No schedule found. If the update or schedule or deleted schedule subflow, if in the update or schedule or deleted schedule subflows, the system is unable to retrieve the student's current schedule. I must write here current schedule. See, I have not yet created a schedule for myself while I have not registered here. See, whenever registration happens, register for courses with the name of the use case, but actually what gets created in the system is the schedule. So if I have not yet registered and if I have not yet created the schedule for the current semester, and if I go to update, it is supposed to give me a message. Hey, you have not yet created the schedule. So while updating, or I say update, but you have not yet created. So this alternative flow describes that. A student acknowledges the error and basic flow is restarted again. The course catalog system unavailable. If the system is unable to communicate, again, see, very important. Now, this course catalog system is an external system. Here in this case study, the course catalog system is an external system. It is an external system. So what if that external system is down? What if it is not available? So if the system is unable to communicate with the course catalog system, the system will display an error message to the student. The student acknowledges the error message and the use case terminates. Now, one very important thing. All external systems are also actors. They are passive actors. They do not communicate with you. Okay, an external system may also communicate with your system. Suppose you build API, set of APIs, and some external system uses your API, then again, that becomes an active actor. But otherwise, external systems, anything that is external to your system, actors are external to your system. So anything that is external to your system, and if it is communicating with your system, or if your system is communicating with it, it is an actor. In our case, ClickUp will be an actor. And I have a question. Will ClickUp use our system, or we are going to use their system? We are going to use ClickUp. So arrow will run from us to ClickUp. These arrows over here in UML does not depict the flow of data. I will repeat this 2 more times. In unified modeling language, the arrow does not depict the flow of data. I repeat, unless it is a, well, chhod do. It does not. It does not. The arrows does not depict the flow of data. The arrow shows who's the client, who's the supplier. So the arrow is towards always the supplier. So if there's an arrow going like this is the client, that is the supplier. That means this invokes the service on that. That's how it is. Okay, so this is done here. And now course registration closed. I go to register for closes. See, every aspect of functionality is covered. There is no one in our entire InfoMover technologies better than Atik to make sure that the use case specification document is perfect. Why? Because you are a meticulous person, Atik. You make sure that all the different things are really considered and taken care of. This is very important. So course registration is closed. If when the use case starts, it is determined that the registration for the current semester has been closed, the message displays to the student and the use case terminates. It says, hey, you cannot register for courses. It's closed. This is a functional requirement. Now, how the user interface, UI, menu option, click here, message, not our concern, UX design. Students cannot register for course offerings after registration for the current semester has been closed. Delete cancelled. If the delete is scheduled subflow, if the student decides not to delete the schedule, the delete is cancelled and the basic flow is restarted. I would suggest this is a kind of a no-brainer. UX designer can handle this. This is a kind of, but still, if you mention it's good, great, no problem. Special requirements, none. Any non-functional requirements must come here, if there are any. Otherwise, none. Precondition. This is the condition. If not met with, use case will not start. The student must be logged out to the system before the use case begins. Or you must say that the person logged out to the system must play the role of a student for this use case to start. मतलब ये कि UX designer को समझ में आ जाएगा और बाकी analysis मतलब designers को भी समझ में आ जाएगा that we are not supposed to provide this option at all to the persona who is logged onto the system but not a student. For example, school का principal जो है, he may get all the options in the world but not register for courses. No, he is not registering. A professor logs onto the system, he will not get that option. So the role that must be available for the logged on user must be student. Post conditions. If the use case was successful, the student schedule is created, updated, or deleted. Otherwise, the system state is unchanged. Very critical. बहुत important है. यूज केस जब कंप्लीट हो जाएगा सक्सेसफुली तो क्या होगा? हमारे टास्क के केस में either a task is created or updated or deleted or someone is assigned it, an assignee is assigned it to it, or a team, I won't say assignee assigned to it, I'll say team member. A team member is assigned to it, and so on. Extension points, if at all there are any use cases that extend the behavior of this use case or is included in this use case, especially extending this use case, then those use cases are specified here. We will take this up later on. Any questions, any doubts? I'm going to share this thing with you. I'll generate a PDF out of this and keep this as the learning tool, and keep this really very, very safe.
Okay, sir.
मैं यहाँ पे ही डाल देता हूँ. None, my dear friends? Any doubts, any
No.
questions, Azhar?
No, bye.